Lesson number 5 is this. Total, everybody say total. Commitment. Everybody say commitment. Total commitment. Lesson number 5 is total commitment. I find that there are a lot of people that make commitments, but they don't get all in. We try it, we'll see, we'll do some of this, we'll do a little bit, we'll do that. But that's not what, if you want to show me a gold medalist, you want to show me a champion, you want somebody who's really doing it, they don't do it like that. It's total commitment. And that's what stops the 98%. It's that we hate the word commitment. We say, no, I don't want to make that kind of commitment because we always say, I'm way too smart to fall for that. We don't. So we'll just ease in. Now, she couldn't ease in. She had to leave. She had to move. She had to make her life in that place. Big decision even for a 14-year-old, if you ask me. And then once again, she said, what can we say? When Bella told me to do something, I did it. She committed to a purpose, winning the gold. She committed to a coach, doing whatever he said. And it was 100% commitment with no guarantees. Now just think about this as just a little thought here. How different would her life be today had she not made that commitment? I mean, just think about how her entire life wouldn't have made any of the impact that it made if she had not made this commitment. If she had kind of sort of did it, if she had done some of it, if she'd done half of it, but no, 100% total commitment. So can you handle lesson number 5? Can't skip it. Lesson number 5, total commitment. How much of a commitment? Total. And you're committed to it. We make no excuses. So, because I'm going to go a little faster. Lesson number 6. Don't cry. Everybody say that. Don't cry. Don't cry. Now, there's a reason why it's got to be don't cry. It's because it doesn't work. That's why. If crying worked, I'd tell all of us to do it. If feeling sorry for yourself was the key, I'd want you to do it. But Bella's number 1 rule, and she's the one that passed it along to us, but Bella's number 1 rule was, don't cry. Now, man, I don't know about you, but that seems a little cold, doesn't it? Don't cry. Mary Lou was injured, and the injury was such on the knee that it appeared to be a fatal blow, because she could never be ready for the Olympics now. It happened just before the Olympics. Now, the first lesson we have to gain from this is this. Injuries happen to all of us. Injuries happen to everybody. Otani just got hurt this week and now has another, what do they call that surgery? Well, yeah, Tommy John. Yeah, second one, for crying out loud. And you're out for a year when you have it. What's the rule that he's got to follow? Don't cry. Get ready. So she had this, no one had ever won an Olympic gold medal after having knee surgery 6 weeks before the Olympics. Think about this. She had surgery 6 weeks before the Olympics. I'd have thought it put her out. But Bella says, don't cry. Now remember, his rule of don't cry, that doesn't mean unless you have a good reason. Because we all come up with good reasons, don't we? It isn't, think about it. It's this. Ask yourself this question. I've tried to ask myself, what if you couldn't? What if you followed this rule that you couldn't cry? You couldn't feel sorry for yourself? What if you could have no victim thinking? And here's the reason why you can't have victim thinking. Because if you have victim thinking, you won't get victory results. That's the reason. Everybody swallow it. If you have victim thinking, you can't get victory results. You have to make a choice. Are you going to be a victim or a victor? Are you going to win or are you going to lose? Crying doesn't work. All in favor say aye. Aye. So, if this is true and she did it, listen to this. This is what she told us. That's why I'm saying we're just letting her teach us. She had surgery, and the next day, she was back in the gym. Phew. See, this is where that faith kind of comes in with. I think that sounds, that's weird. Because we like to play at what? That's right. Well, it might hurt you. It might not be good. This could be bad. You might get hurt again. Well, you can only get so hurt. She can't be in it anyway, so she might as well get up. So here's the deal. What about you? What hurts? What gives you reasons to cry? Well, just as I was going to do this, this person quit. Just as I was going to do this thing broke down. Oh, they've started construction right outside my office, and all this. What is it that makes you feel like you have a reason to cry? What if there's Ryan and I? We have a guy there in our area. He has 5 restaurants, barbecues. One of them this past year burned down, fire. Burned down. Now, rats, I don't know about you, but we don't have too many clients who say, wow, we just lost our office, it burned down. That's kind of an obstacle, but you know what we'd tell them if it did? So where are we going to go? We need to open. How can we do it? Let's look at it. Let's look at our options. You get up. You don't cry. You fix it. Don't cry, fix it. That's the answer to all things. Now, everybody who was at this elite meeting, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It was kind of an unforgettable illustration. However, we had all the elite doctors at our house there on the island in Florida. First night, man, everybody's there and they're eating and all that kind of thing. First night, first crazy night, I got everybody there and I'm wanting them to really think this is a really cool deal. First night, the sewer backs up. The bathroom thing got clogged. It got clogged. And here it is, there's stuff running out of the bathroom. And we've got, whatever we had, 300 people, if I remember right. We had 300 people there and no bathroom now. What was the lesson? Poop happens. We don't throw it out. Isn't that right? You guys were there. Man, I didn't go cry. We didn't shut everything down. We didn't quit. Nobody ever knows. You know what I did? I called somebody to come fix the poop. I called more than one. Nevertheless, I said, hey, we need some help here. You guys were there, isn't that true? We need some help here. Come on, let's go. We got to have her done. And I mean, we had within no time, didn't we? We had people out there working on that crazy thing and fixing it. There's no time to cry. You don't cry, you fix it. How many of you have ever seen poop happen? You don't sell, you don't quit, you don't fold for crying out loud. Fix that sucker. Now, I'll tell you what, my parents and the parents that I was with, when I was a kid, I'll tell you what parents used to say. And by the way, I'll ask you this question first. Let me ask you this question first. How many of you have ever told your kids to stop crying? The rest of you are liars. They start crying, and they just cry, and they keep crying. And pretty soon, okay, they might have had a minute where I could excuse it, but after a while, they're still crying. And you're saying, hey, Ryan, stop crying. Now, I'll tell you what, the generation before me, I'll tell you what those parents said. I'll say those parents, they would say this, they'd say, stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. How many of you know that answer? Yeah. You stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about, boy, howdy. Boy, we've changed a lot, haven't we? We've gone from that to, I understand. You're right. Now, the question is not whether or not you'll experience setbacks or injuries. There could be fires. There's going to be poop. It's a verse somewhere in there, something like that. But if you want to win, don't cry. You think we can copy it? Listen, thank you. Lesson number 7. Winners win the mental game. You know, here's the funny thing about the Olympics. No matter what country they're coming from, and if you've ever seen them, I've never seen any of them that were out of shape. They were all strong. They were all fit. They were all able. Everybody from every country and every deal, everybody competing there was already at the height of their physical abilities. They were fit, strong. But only one made it to the gold medal. What then makes the difference? Battles are won between the ears. It's a mental game. It's the ones who are the strongest and the toughest mentally that win the medals. Now let's go back. This is all Mary Lou that I got this from. So just Mary Lou. She was competing against a Russian. A Russian. Now, I don't know about you. See, I also grew up in my day. See, I grew up, it's not true now, but when I grew up, when I was kids, I mean, we used to have drills in school where we'd get under the desk. Do you guys remember these? We'd get under the desk training for a bomb because who was going to bomb us? The Russians. Yeah. We would have Russian drills when I was a kid, man. I mean, I had a pretty good fear of the Russians because they're going to bomb us. We're underneath our desks to survive. Then I get a little bit older, and then I'm watching the Olympics, and there's a Russian. Well, rats. And she's facing this Russian. She's 16 years old. I don't think that that's a problem with who's the most physically fit. I think that's a mental problem right there. Because see, now you guys don't tell anybody this, but I always thought that they looked meaner. You know, when I watch them on TV, I thought, oh boy, she's a tough one. I mean, like Nadia Comaneci, we were just talking about, I thought she was. Well, she ended up marrying an Oklahoman, so she's all right. But at the time, I didn't know it, and it's a mental game. Does everybody follow what I'm talking about? There's a lot of mental games that go on. So Mary Lou, she said this. Now, here was part of her mental game. The Russian scored a 9.9. And she got a 9.9 because if you remember, when she made her landing, her foot went back. One foot, she stepped back just a little bit and then put it right back up again. There goes 1/10 of a point. Well, shoot. No pressure here, but now she has to score a 10. How many American women in gymnastics have ever scored a 10 before? Whew. No pressure. She said, people say it's too much pressure. But if it's too much pressure, then you're in the wrong thing. She said, I didn't work out 8 hours a day for nothing. She did not want to share the medal. She was there to win. Does everybody see the difference? No wonder. You guys, we don't want to say that this is it. She didn't get it because she was the most talented. She won between her ears in the first place. She won the mental game. I think I can see any of us choking. What do you think? Putting one foot back, that's all it takes? Now here's the question I have to ask you, which is why I'm glad you're here. Do you work to keep your mental game at peak level? Can we acknowledge that that mental game matters? And that a lot of times we lose not because of what we were capable of doing, but because of what we thought was going to happen. Or we thought what we could do or couldn't do. You have to work. Listen to this statistic, you guys. Less than 5% of the population study mental toughness. Less than 5%. And here's the reason. They view it as motivational nonsense. Now, you know, if you jerk your halo off, there's a whole lot of people in the medical field, for instance, that think that kind of thing. They're facts people. They're science people. This is motivational nonsense. But you also got to realize this. Most of these people are struggling financially. And they need something to blame anyhow. Most people are struggling to meet ends meet because they haven't taken on the lesson in the importance of mental toughness. That's why at Integrity, we make it our priority to keep you, who's you? To keep you at the top of your mental game. And that's why we do a lot to do that. The conferences. Now in 2024, we're coming up to 2024. In 2024, we're going to have a winter stream conference and a summer stream conference. Now, how many of you were at our summer stream conference just a month or so ago? It was awesome. I'm telling you, that was one great, flags, I'm sorry, raise your flag. How many of you were at the summer stream? Thank you for the reminder. I went right out of my mental game there. Okay, now, here's the deal. Those are fantastic. I love them. We got 2 of them. I would miss it. I felt sorry for anybody who wasn't there. And then on top of that, we're going to have 2 live, but at six locations. So we're going to have a spring conference live and a fall conference live in 6 locations each. So we will come to here in Columbus. We'll be here both fall and spring. We'll be in Kansas City, fall and spring. We will have 6 conferences each. So that's 12 right there. We'll have 2 of the live streams. Then we're going to have 3 elite conferences. So by the time you tally these up, we will have 17 conferences in 2024. Now here's just a couple things to go. Who in the world besides us provides 17 conferences? I mean, there's nothing even close. But that isn't all. Plus, we're going to have the Zoom meetings. How many of you have ever been on any of our Zoom meetings? Elites and team meetings and stuff like that? Fantastic stuff. We have the Zoom meetings. We have coaching calls for all the doctors. We now have coaching calls for all the teams that just simply get involved with it. You can have team coaching calls, you have doctor coaching calls, and all of these. Then you have the Zoom meetings that go with just even the conferences. Plus, you have the app that has all of its resources with all of it. Like this conference right here is being videoed. And you can go back and listen to it every time you want and need to. And God knows you should. Because we're going to forget some of this stuff, aren't we? All in favor say aye. Aye. We have all these things available. Everything, the tools are there. If you say, well, I don't feel connected. Well, it's your fault if you can't get connected with all these things. You can't get connected. Connect. Be there. Listen. Watch. Attend. Don't miss it. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Why do we do it? Here's why. Because it works. If you win the mental game, you win. So, we choose to win. Lesson number 8 is finish. I asked Mary Lou, how many times did you almost quit? See, here's the thing. A lot of us start stuff. No hands, you don't have to. A lot of us start stuff, but we don't finish stuff. A lot of us get partway there, and then we get tired, or we lose interest, or we get distracted. All kinds of things happen, but we don't finish. Lesson number 8 is this. Finish. The 98% always stop before they finish. Mary Lou said the best practice is when you fall off the beam 25 times and you get back up. You say, well, Keith, we stopped doing this. How many of you, it works so well we stopped doing it? How many of you have ever stopped doing stuff? How many of you started doing like even in the system? Maybe you did this and you did that, but if you're not doing it now, you don't do it. Finish. You got to do it until the vision is complete, until the purpose is done. Once we've taken the lead, we've taken over, we've changed healthcare, and we've changed the health of our world, then you can quit. But we haven't finished yet. You got to finish. You've got to do it. If you remember, Jesus did a lot of great things. He left heaven to come to earth. We call it Christmas. That was a pretty good deal, wasn't it? That was a good move. Was that a good move? He left heaven to come to earth and was born in a barn. That was a pretty good move. How many think that was a pretty good move? Well, then he did not only did that, but then he even kept living with us, and he kept teaching, and he kept healing. He did for 33 years that he worked there, did a lot of great things, and never did anything wrong. Still, he wasn't finished. Then was the cross. And on the cross, he said, "It is finished." I think it must be a principle. I think it must be a lesson. I think it must be a law. It wasn't enough to come here. It wasn't enough to teach. It wasn't enough to heal. You got to finish the job. You can't leave out the tough part. You can't leave out the cross part. You got to finish. All in favor say aye. Aye. Lesson number 9. The attitude of a champion. I'm wondering if I should skip this one and do the... Yes.
Yeah, I would skip it.
Okay, this is Scott Hamilton. You all heard Scott Hamilton. Scott Hamilton, I got a great video on him, but I got 12, so what do I do here? And I got less than 20 minutes. So I'll go through this one. I'm not going to skip this one, though. Matt Stutzman. Matt Stutzman, the armless archer. Now, how many of you saw Matt? Okay, good. This is quite a guy. Lesson number 10. You ready for this? Have a no handicap mentality. By the way, I should have said lesson number 9 is the attitude of a champion. And I was going to show you the best example of attitude I know, and that is Scott Hamilton, who then said the only handicap is a bad attitude. And he talks about his attitude through some amazing things. That's why it's a shame to skip it, but I'll do it maybe some of the time, some of the way. Here's this. Lesson number 10 is have a no handicap mentality. No handicap. You are not short of anything. Now look, you guys. Matt was born in 1982 in Kansas City without arms. How many of you think that's a little bit of a handicap? He was born without arms, you guys. So his birth parents, it turned out that his birth parents didn't want him. After a few months, they gave him up because they didn't want to handle, didn't know how to handle. What do you do with a guy that has no arms? So they let him go. He was adopted about 4 months later to a farm family in Iowa. But they wouldn't treat him like he was handicapped or act like he was. They made no special modifications in their house. Their house stayed exactly the way it is. You adapt. Pretty interesting. Today he shaves, drives a car, eats with his feet, takes care of his 3 children in a home with no special modifications to help him out. What do you think? That's pretty amazing, isn't it, you guys? No handicap mentality. So let me just show this. One thing for sure, if he had a handicap mentality, he could have never become an Olympian. Remember, we haven't come down to the real part. He made the Olympic team, went to the Olympics as an archer, and he has no arms. You do kind of pick up on that. That's a bit of an oxymoron, wouldn't you think? Let me just say this, and then we're going to see his video. I'm going to get there. I got to. Let me just say this. In chiropractic, we have a tendency to work with a handicap mentality. We think we're handicapped with chiropractic. We think that medical doctors are not handicapped. That's why we try to get them. That's why we try to hire them. That's why we try to go with them. That's why we want their insurance. That's why we want their things. Is because they're not handicapped. Well, we are. We're just such... Don't cry. And here's the deal. No, we must get rid of the handicapped chiropractor mentality. You see yourself as the head of healthcare and not the bottom. How can Matt have that kind of a desire and no handicapped attitude when he's competing with everybody else who has it all. How does he do it, you guys? This is what he said. I see myself as an able-bodied person. I see myself as an able-bodied. He has the faith. He sees what everybody else just simply cannot see. I see myself as an able-bodied person. How should we see ourselves, you guys? 100%. 100% we have it all. We are not short of anything. That was the lesson. Get rid of the handicap mentality. You are not short of anything. Everybody say, I am not short of anything. Because you aren't. You have everything you need to be able to do the God-given purpose, or he wouldn't have God-given it to you. You have everything you need. You are not short of anything. He said, I see myself as an able-bodied person. I decided that since my arms weren't going to grow back, I was going to go forward with everything and not let anything get in my way or stop me from my goals. What does that sound like to you guys? I will do whatever it takes because I believe. I went from living off Social Security, which was $600 a month, and now I don't need Social Security. I can take care of my own kids' things. That's a lesson, you guys. Is that a lesson? Pretty big lesson. Lesson number 11. Focus on purpose things only. We get distracted, you guys. You ever notice that? We get distracted, and that's what happens. Life throws lots of distractions in our way. You know that with a baby, if a baby starts crying or doing something, you just start rattling something in front of them, and it gets them distracted, and then they forget. We get distracted by people, losses, leisures, good things, politics. We get distracted with things that are not purpose things. It has nothing to do with us accomplishing our purpose of taking the lead in healthcare and changing the health of our world. It has nothing to do with it, and we get involved with it anyway, and we start doing it. Here's what I have to realize. Some things are out of my control, but there's something I can control, and that's my focus. I can focus on the right thing. It's my choice. I can control my focus. I can control what I think. I can control what I do. But most of our frustration and most of our anger and most of our anxiety comes from being focused, trying to control on things that we cannot control. I have come to the decision that I cannot control this country. Nor can I control the people in it. I cannot control the decisions. I cannot control the actions. I cannot control the government. Do I think they do some of the stupidest things in the whole wide world? Yes, but I'm going to tell you this right now. That's not where I can focus on because I can't change that. I can focus on what I'm supposed to do. I need to make sure that I do what I'm supposed to do. I need to make sure that I accomplish what I'm supposed to accomplish. I'm responsible for what I've been given to do. My God-given purpose, not theirs. So I got to leave it alone. I got to leave it out. I can't get into that stuff. And everybody likes to get into stuff that isn't theirs. You see, this is what we have to realize, is that, and the Pharisees did the same thing. They loved to focus on other people. They're not doing this, they're not doing that. Oh, they're sinners, they're crazy people. Oh, look at them, they're doing it. I don't do that. I don't do this. Oh, no, I would never do this. I don't do that. And they didn't agree with you. They thought, well, Jesus is a crazy person. You know what Jesus did for us? You know what he did? He worked on Sunday. He healed somebody, and it was the Sabbath. My word, go to hell. Now, no, I made that part up. They actually said worse than that. What they said was, they said crucify him. That's harsh. Don't you think that's harsh? The guy healed on Sunday. Well, hang him from a cross. But it didn't work. That's why I don't recommend that you do it. But it was in this type of world that, see, Jesus understands our distractions. He understands what we want to do. He understands what's going on. And so this is what he told us. You and I, this is what he told us. You know what he told us? He said, don't get involved with all those other things. Don't be distracted. Just let your light shine in front of them, that they might see your purpose and your good deeds. And then they glorify God in heaven who gave you the purpose. Is that great or what? Was that a great message or was that a great... I don't think you could... I'm a lot more excited about this than you are. Here's the deal. He said, here's what you really do. You can't fix them. Let them say crucify them. Your thing is to let your light shine. What should we be doing in chiropractic? We should be letting it shine. What should we do? We have a light that can heal, that can change the health of our world. We can do it naturally, the way God made the body. We need to let our light shine and stop looking for a bunch of other lights and stuff. We need to stop focusing. And don't tell me what the other lights aren't doing. Do your lights. All in favor say aye. Let your light so shine before men that they might see your good deeds and change their actions and come your way to where you change their health. Will it work, you guys? Yes. It will work. So, purpose things only. Stay on purpose, man. Stop getting into that kind of stuff. Don't do it. Matt could have easily been distracted by his weaknesses, but he stayed focused on his purpose. Why is it important? You focus on it because that blocks out the negative thoughts that so mess up our positive ideas and keep us from building success. How many of you have ever had some get off on certain directions that messes up your positive thoughts? And pretty soon, yes, you do, you know you do. You wake up that way. You wake up in the morning, a lot of times you get in an argument in your mind just when you wake up. By the time you get to the office, you're hacked off. Wow, what's wrong with them? A lot of times I'll say, hey, how you doing? It's 8 o'clock in the morning. How you doing? No, I'm tired. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. You haven't even had time to get tired. What are you doing? You get off on all kinds of stuff because you're so focused on stuff that just absolutely wears you out. How many of you know that people can wear you out? Wear you out. You can watch the news and get wore out. You can go to bed feeling absolutely hopeless and helpless. You're not looking at your purpose. You're looking at somebody else. Let your light so shine before men. All in favor say aye. Aye. Is this a lesson? Focus on fulfilling yours. Things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. How many of you have ever let little things drown out the big things? Good quote. If we don't stay focused on fulfilling our God-given purpose, our results will be the same as those who had no plan at all. Don't let the distractions of low-priority items drain you of the time and energy to do your high-priority purpose.
I'm Bryant Gumbel for HBO's Real Sports. Up next, a profile of a man in Iowa who was born into this world facing challenges so daunting that his birth parents abandoned him. It was the first of several challenges that Matt Stutzman would have to overcome en route to becoming one of the most unlikely competitors that his ancient...
You got to admit that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Well, it changes my perspective. You know what I'd say, you guys? If you look at all the lessons that are there and you look at him and what he's been through, which, by the way, I guess I should know, yeah. The desire to be the best, you heard Matt talk about that. He sees himself as able-bodied. He was with all, did you see those hundreds of people in that same contest? None of them were in his situation and he didn't care. Well, he was going to win anyway. So
I'm Brian.
I just want to do this. So let me just take you to this one thing. I was at a Rays game, and there's some people that sat next to us that was from Bentonville, Arkansas. And so I was talking, Bentonville, oh really, Walmart City here, yeah, that's right. I said, oh yeah, Sam Walmart. Oh yeah. And they were both, really pretty strong in Walmart. Matter of fact, she was in charge of all the clinics that they're trying to get going in Walmart, medical clinics and stuff, and she's doing that, and so anyway, I said, wow, that's something else. I said, because we're from, the area, and so my wife and I, the first place we lived was in Oklahoma, and so anyway, we saw these Walmart starts springing up there. And when I saw a Walmart come into a small town like that, I said, wow, that is brilliant. Now, I was 20, so I said, whew. I knew this thing is going to be gangbusters, but, what do I know about buying stock or doing any of that at that time? But anyway, I was just telling him, he says, well, I can do you one story better than that. He said, my mom, she's worked for Walmart premises. Anyway, he said she went to the grand opening of the third Walmart that ever opened there in Fayetteville, I believe it was. Third Walmart that ever opened, and they were having a grand opening, and they did one of these big grand prize deals, giving away a prize at this Walmart. So she entered into the contest, and she won the grand prize. Now, the grand prize at this third Walmart ever, they gave her a choice. You can either have 100 shares of Walmart, or you can have a big, beautiful, grand TV console. Well, now the TV console was everybody's love and desire, and it's big and beautiful, and it's right there. It's already worth a lot. That day, it's worth a lot. That day. The 100 shares of Walmart wasn't worth squat. Now, let me ask you, which one do you think she chose? The one that was valuable that day, or the one that had no value? What do you think she chose? The TV grand console. She chose the console. Today, he said, those 100 shares are worth $103 million for all the splits and all the things and how it grew. So here's the deal, you guys. How much do you think that TV's worth now? You couldn't give it away. But people, we all have the tendency to always opt for the things that are valuable right there on the spot, the sure shot, what I referred to earlier, the safe. Why would you want to run the risk of those 100 shares that could be worthless next year? But here's the deal that I want us to get. It's a pretty important little lesson here. The truth is, you guys, that we have the same opportunity here. What are you going to do with what you've been offered? You see, most people are looking for what's valuable now, but how much are these 12 lessons going to be worth? They are literally worth hundreds of millions of dollars for those who know it, for those who take it home, for those who keep them. But most people opt for the TV instead, the safe. As I've said so many times to you, the saying is, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I've always said, most of the time, safe is sorry. No, you got to be willing to follow the lessons, and there's a price to pay with it. There is a risk. There is a commitment. There is a system. There is all these things if you're willing to get back to it. You say, well, there was a time when I did and I haven't now. That's okay. That's good. You say, well, yeah, but shoot, is it too late for me to do it? Well, let me help you with that one real quick. We're electing presidents now at 100 years old. It's never too late, I guess, is it? Huh? The truth is, you can accomplish anything from wherever you are when it's a God-given purpose. Because He wouldn't give you a dream or a purpose, that He wouldn't give you everything that you need, because we are not short of anything except for our willingness to invest it. It may not be what you see today as being all that valuable, but it doesn't matter how you see it today, because now think about what she would have had she taken that stock then. She would have $100 million. should have taken that one. Let me spare you the pain here. What you've been given just now, and we've still got a whole half a day to go. Well, let me just tell you, it can mean everything if you want to take it. What are you going to do with it, everybody? You going to take it? You're going to do it. It's going to mean a lot. Now, not at noon today, but you hang on to that sucker and you do it and you invest it, you'll live the dream. It's a promise. Let's take a break.